Welcome back to Cape Fear Calling. We're here at the kitchen sink, and what I was trying to tell our guests before I introduced them was my aunt and I pulled up with the gear, and Robin, one of your staff here, opened the door like, what can I do for you guys? As if we were in desperate need of something, and I thought that was amazing. She didn't know we were here for a podcast. I'm like, we're here for a podcast. She's like, come on in. So that is, I think if you're listening or watching, that is something you could expect, which is very high level customer service, and that is why we are here today. So I'm going to ask the guests to introduce themselves the best you can. I usually don't like to do that. I like to do it for you, but it's just good to have you here. So please, let's go ahead with you, Alicia.
My name's Alicia Mitchell, and I am the owner and founder and chef of Kitchen Sink.
Awesome. And you?
And I'm Jason Mitchell. I'm her husband. I hang out here with her.
You hang out. And then obviously Ann here.
I'm Ann Cardona. I'm owner of Little Fishies and co-host of the podcast.
Yeah. So what were your impressions of the kitchen? Why are we here? Why did we choose Kitchen Sink?
Oh, good question. So I was looking for places to eat. And so I do think Kitchen Sink is a hidden gem because it doesn't pop up right away. It doesn't punch you in the face. But when you're looking at the reviews, if you look closely, they have some really, really awesome reviews about the space and how it's a must-see, and it's about the ambiance and the comfort. And I said, I got to check it out. So we came in and I said, they're 100% right. It's just got this nice openness.
Yes.
The food is great. And it's just a great, comfortable place to have some good, fresh food. So we want to get to know more about the people behind it. So
Yes.
that is why we are here.
So how long has Kitchen Sink existed in your mind? And then when did it come to fruition?
Oh, in my mind, for years. I mean, I can go back probably at least 10 years.
Okay.
And in actuality, we opened up in November of 2021.
Okay.
So we're a little over a year and a half,
Nice.
I guess now. And just like you spoke, I think our vision behind all of it was to have a home away from home.
Yeah.
To be able to walk in and to feel comfortable and
Mhm.
like you're at a friend's house or a family. I
Yes.
mean, food for us, especially is love. I mean,
Yeah.
I grew up in an Italian Polish family,
Mm.
so that was always my love language.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sunday night dinners, and I wanted to pass that along into the restaurant for all of Wilmington to experience as well.
One quick follow-up on that. What were you doing? I'm assuming you were doing something else before you owned this business. And I
Yes.
think this question is for both of you. What were you doing before? Because that's always really interesting.
I was a chemist. I was in the pharmaceutical industry.
Chemist?
Yeah.
Like Walter White. Okay.
Yeah. For about 20 years. I graduated college in 2002, and I worked in the industry for almost 20 years before I left to open the restaurant.
And why'd you leave that industry?
It wasn't my passion.
Mm.
I mean, it was a way to make a living, but it wasn't a passion of mine. It wasn't a calling.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the kitchen sink, we both feel like it's a calling
Mm-hmm.
for us to do. It's purposeful. It's not just about food. It's about people.
Yeah.
And so I think that we just jumped.
I love it. What about you?
I've done a lot, but for the decade before getting into this, I've been in full-time ministry,
Okay.
local ministry or Vigilant Hope. So I've spent countless hours and involved in community outreach and just educating the public on how to be an effective part of helping it.
Sure.
So it was a really, our hearts were both in that kind of culture.
Sure.
So it just rolled over into that almost the same, aspects, work around in here too,
Yeah.
with just the way we treat everybody we're around.
Yeah, it's I think marrying the two passions of food and community and trying to hire intentionally for people who otherwise couldn't maybe get a job and just really pouring into the community that way.
Yeah.
I think it's been a good marriage of those two passions.
One final question on that. For you, it sounds like it was great to leave, even though it was scary. For you, it was like you're serving, but a business can consume you. So did you have any issues with that? Like, well, I'm not going to be able to serve as much, or this is my calling, but this is also our calling. How did you?
Luckily, I got a nice transition period where I was able to do both things at the same time.
Nice.
And then that helped me realize that I didn't need to be, weren't mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
I could be, doing both.
Yep.
And, it wasn't an either or, but a both and.
Nice.
I have a question. So Wilmington has a lot of areas that you could have picked for your restaurant. What made you guys pick Brooklyn Arts District? What makes it special for your restaurant?
I think the Brooklyn Arts District is very, very much a community, very supportive of one another in the businesses, and it's up and coming. We're not in the heart of downtown, which can hurt a business as well. But I think it was very purposeful to be here in this time now. There's just a lot of people around us that we get to meet and interact with that if we were on Front Street, we would never get the chance to. And it just opens up the doors to people.
Yeah. What do people say when they discover the kitchen sink when they come in? The district itself is awesome, but what about when they come in? What kind of feedback have you gotten?
Lots of positive feedback on just the welcoming nature of the atmosphere when you come in, to just the decor, the staff, the smells and all that. People seem to really enjoy the historic look that we tried to maintain from not only the outside, but taking it all the way to the patio. I mean, we wanted to maintain the integrity of this building and the district in that way. And I think people notice.
Yeah, I mean, just as the tables, they're old doors from downtown houses that were going to be demolished, and we turned them into tables. Little things like that. And it's a very personal space. Every single item in here has some sort of story,
and
whether it's from his family or my family or whatever. But I mean, it's very personal for us.
Can you give us an example like that? Like that?
That's an old Schwinn bike that we had in the garage. And there's video actually of me cutting that bike. And that's an old ceiling tile from an old house in downtown Wilmington as well.
And also the green trim was also harvested from a historical home that was being remodeled and taken out.
And there's a picture behind you. I don't know if you can see it, but that was actually painted by my daughter and another staff member at a live worship event.
Yes.
And it's beautiful. We can go around to every item around here, but we'd be here all day.
We can move on.
Yeah, I think you get a sense of that it's not just random things like a Cracker Barrel.
Right.
Like they're really things that mean something to you. But yeah, it's awesome.
It is a bunch of random things like a Cracker Barrel.
Yes.
But they're personal. It's not somebody who just went to a garage sale and picked out a bunch of stuff. Like each one means something to you.
Absolutely.
So, which I think is awesome. That is just something I always think about when I go to Cracker Barrel. It's like, who picked out all these things? And like, how did they do that? They just went and just said, just give me this side of the room and I'll just take it. So I wanted to know, what are some of what is the food? Can you explain to people, like, what do you serve? And how do you think your cuisine fits into the Wilmington culture or the Brooklyn Arts District culture?
I mean, I just wrap it into it's all fresh, made from scratch, from the bottom of the pot to the bowl, soups, gazpachos, awesome sandwiches. Try to be as creative and marrying with flavors as best as possible. And
we try to do some unique things that Wilmington doesn't have. Beef on weck, for one, is one that you can't really get anywhere.
Nice.
Soup flights. I mean, his genius idea to do soup flights, but it's fun. And we're launching brunch, and we're going to do poached egg flights.
Okay, then.
Which flights?
Poached egg flights.
Poached egg flights. Oh my
goodness. We like to be unique. And also, I mean, like you said, everything from scratch, as local as we can possibly get it. Fresh microgreens from craft grown. Just as, much as we can pour our heart into different dishes for people.
So you don't just hang out, you come up with soup flights and other unique things.
We're both full-time into this. I don't just hang out, but she is the inspiration for me being here.
No, I totally get that. What about some of the dishes that you've come up with that you think are crowd favorites? Like, do you notice something that people are like, they usually get that? And do you notice something as well?
Yeah, definitely. Nona's meatball is one of the big ones. Yes. And it is from my Nona recipe that was carried on and, down from my dad to me. That's a big time favorite, and you won't leave hungry when you eat that because I am Italian and portions are big. But yeah, that's one of the big ones. And our beef on weck is big. We bake our bread every morning. We slow roast the beef in house. So and make our own au jus out of the drippings and all of that.
Yeah.
So
we use Edward Teach beer for that as well.
We do.
Okay.
We try to partner as much as we can with other people.
Yeah.
And using, supporting the community locally.
It's a great way to get support.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you notice that people like?
The sweet and savory is, I'd say, one of the on the lighter side of things, the
Sure.
most popular sandwich that just seems to fly out and never disappoint.
Nice.
So that's one of our favorites for a
Yeah.
long time. We've been eating it before the restaurant ever existed. So
Yeah.
it was an easy in on the menu.
Well, I had a question about so those are some crowd favorites. So do you have a personal favorite? Are they different than the crowd favorites?
My crispy pork belly.
Crispy pork belly.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
That's my baby. I love it, and I'm very proud of it. And
That is
I
very
eat it. If I'm cooking it for a customer, I'm throwing an extra piece in on the order. You know,
There you go. Hot
good.
tip.
You have to be the better husband, too.
the bad hot chicken is another favorite of mine.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think for me, I lean more towards the soups, and they rotate. We have over 45 different ones now.
Wow.
We don't run them obviously every
Mhm.
week. We rotate out, but I think my passion lies in the soups because you can get creative. It's part of where the name came from, which we'll get to later.
Yes. Well, no. Let's get to it. What is it?
So that's an homage to my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I lost my mom when I was 22, but
Okay.
growing up, I think out of a necessity, but I didn't know it at the time I was a kid. She could somehow we didn't have anything in the house, but somehow she could make these soups that were just absolutely to die for.
Oh man.
And I kind of just adopted that, and with my own kids did the same thing. And now it's just like a love language every time I make soup.
Yes.
It's being able to grab anything and everything, not waste anything, and turn it into something that's really, really good.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
The
to
kitchen sink, everything but the kitchen sink. That's where it came from.
That's perfect.
But actually, the kitchen sink is up there too.
Yeah, that's true.
So we talked about crowd favorites. We talked about your favorites. Something that I think listeners are always interested in is, do you have any off-menu items that if they listen to this, they can come in and get the inside scoop on what other people maybe don't know?
The secret menu.
And we do. Yes.
Yeah, it kind of flip flops because a lot of the things that kind of hit the secret menu are like mashup items, and those things require part of it at least to be on deck for that week. So like when we have white chicken chili, that's a really easy like mashup to do what we call our white chicken chili poutine. So it's just over fries. The chili acts like a gravy, and it's fantastic. And then there's others you can
Yeah, a
think
couple
of.
other ones that we have on deck all the time would be the caprese sandwich. So we have a caprese salad, but we don't offer it as a sandwich other than our
Caprese
secret
salad.
menu. And it's really good. We also have fried mac and cheese, which is on our secret menu.
Nice.
So
But
comes
there's
with marinara, and it's
if someone came
Good.
in and asked, there would be more.
Yeah,
There you go.
there's
Come in and ask. Follow them on Instagram and you'll be able to see. What about drinks? Do you have coffee, any alcohol or anything like that?
We do have beer and wine,
Okay.
some really cool spins on some like mocktail type things,
Sure.
especially on Sundays. There'll be mimosa flights and
Oh,
things
nice.
like that. Coffee, we partner with Vigilant Hope, and we have that on Sundays for brunch as well. Don't really have it during the week
Yeah.
because there hasn't been much of a demand, and we have a coffee shop right next door. So
We do partner locally too with Queen
Mhm.
Esther Teas, and so we carry her immunity. She does all of her own teas. She has her own business, and we carry her tea every day. Sometimes we carry different things that she has on deck that week, but that's a fun partnership to,
Yeah.
have to support local women too.
So one thing we always like to ask is why Wilmington? You may have been here for a long time and you could have started a business anywhere else, but we're always interested in finding out what is it about Wilmington that makes you feel like your business could thrive here, that other businesses could thrive here.
Well, I'm born and raised.
Oh, nice.
So I've got a deep seated, love for Wilmington. I don't see myself ever going anywhere else. However, I don't really know what the future holds.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to do what we're doing anywhere else but 622 North 4th Street in the Brooklyn Arts District, Wilmington, North Carolina.
Yeah. Well, since you said that, and before we get to I follow up on that is like, what have you seen transpire in Wilmington since, if you're born and raised here, like what have you seen at least in the last decade since you opened or since you conceptualized this?
Yeah. The Wilmington was just a little town, and now it's just a glorified town because of some, interstates that connected to
Yeah.
us. But we're growing way fast, and it's been that way for a long time. So I've seen us go from nothing.
Yeah.
Same structure in cities. Downtown looks the same.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Very good.
Oh yeah. So downtown still looks the same, but everything else is just blown up and grown
Yeah.
from and all the way out to Ogden and moving forward. So people have changed. We've invited in lots of new faces, new people, new
Yeah.
families from all over the world.
Yeah.
The food culture took a long time to change, but in the past, 6 years, it's like really
It's
been
beautiful.
hit hard, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just an awesome thing to be a part of.
What about you?
Well, I'm not from here.
Yeah. You're from
but
the Northeast originally?
I'm from New Jersey originally.
Me too. So are we.
Yeah.
Morristown.
Tom's River.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Everyone knows. Yeah.
But I've been here a very long time.
Yeah.
So, and I do count this home, and I agree with everything he said. I wouldn't
Mhm.
want to do it anywhere else.
I feel like, and Ann and I have been talking about this a lot. Like, it's just a really good time to be in Wilmington, like watching things unfold. How do you think the kitchen sink kind of contributes to like the direction Wilmington's heading a little bit? Because there's a lot of dated places here, but also I would say, I don't know if this is the right way to put it, like suffering businesses. But what do you think the kitchen sink is bringing to the table? No pun intended. Like, yeah, for Wilmington.
I think it's a unique spot. Family owned. I think people love that. I think people want to support that more than they want to support chains, maybe.
Yeah.
And it's so purposeful and passionate. It's bigger than the food. And I just think that, I don't know, it's a unique, cool spot for Wilmington. It fits.
So something I want to make sure I ask is are there any spots in Wilmington that you would like to recommend? Are there some other places in Wilmington that if somebody's coming here or if they already live there, that you think they should check out? And it could be anything. It could be restaurant, dry cleaners, park. But what are some spots that you like there that you just really enjoy?
I think the first thing that pops in my head, and not that I visit there as often as I'd like, but Luna Cafe.
Luna?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're another really, family-owned
Yeah.
spot, and they're just a really unique, and you can walk in there and feel that it's purposeful and it's comfortable and friendly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mess Hall, the roastery coffee shop.
Not been there yet. Yeah.
Mess Hall just opened up their new location, so lots
Oh, wow.
more space, lots more opportunity. It should be pretty great. Haven't been yet
Yeah.
to the new space, but I mean, if you like burgers and you like coffee, and those are two good spots.
That's great.
And then hours, what are the hours here so people know? I know they could go online, but they're listening or watching right now. What are the hours? And I think you guys mentioned something about a patio maybe coming up.
So right now, we actually just changed our hours.
Mm-hmm.
So we are Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 3, and then on Sunday, brunch, 10 to 3.
And then off Monday.
And we're off Monday.
Good
We
for
are
you guys.
prepping on Monday, so we're closed.
Mhm.
And yes, we are launching a brand new patio space. So there will be a patio party coming at some point.
Nice.
I'm not exactly sure when, but that'll be an invite.
Yeah.
Yeah, the patio is finished. Brunch is officially launched. We're excited.
Brunch.
Yeah.
And is it brunch kind of like you need reservations type deal at this point because it's getting.
No, I think, we did reservations for Mother's Day. Last week was
Sure.
our first weekend.
Yeah.
So this is our second coming up, but I don't think we're going to do reservations moving forward. We're just going to have the doors open.
Awesome.
With capacity in place.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I see you guys have beef on weck on the menu. Do you get asked if you are from Buffalo a lot? And what is it that made you guys put beef on weck on the menu? It's not a common item around
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, we get asked all the time, which one of you's from Buffalo? And we say, neither one of us. So why do you have a beef on weck on the menu? Well, we fell in love with it just by South College Deli that was here in town right up until about the time of the pandemic or sometime in there. But we also, Alicia would try to replicate that Cummelweck bread at home and finally just perfected it. So
Nice.
even post-pandemic, we were eating beef on wex at home and just like really enjoyed the Sunday night dinner, carving the beef, making the beef on wex. So it was, again, an easy fold for that to be, right on the menu.
Awesome. All right. So for people who are now interested or have listened or have seen, what would you say to them about why they should come visit the kitchen sink?
Why not?
Yeah, I agree.
Just come hang out, check it out for yourself, get some food, and let's chat. Let us know that's why you're here.
Perfect. Okay, everyone. So we are going to wrap up this episode. Please check the kitchen sink out. And on Instagram, it's at TKS. Is that correct?
That on Facebook is at TKSILM, all in caps.
Okay.
On Instagram is at the kitchen sink ILM.
Yes.
Got it. And this is a very good Instagram spot. I've posted plenty of times here. So make sure you are tagging them, letting them know how they did and that you enjoyed their food and that you enjoyed the environment. And we'll see you next episode.